Indian Foreign Ministry has revealed that Chinese troops engaged in another provocative action on the 31st of August. Now, this happened while both the sides were holding brigadier commander level discussions to de-escalate the tensions along the line of actual control. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava had said that due to timely defensive action, the Indian side was able to prevent this attempt by China to unilaterally alter the status quo. Talking about the provocation on the night of August 29-30th, the Indian side said that this action by China was in violation of the understanding reached in the previous disengagement talks. In previously conducted talks, representatives from both the sides had agreed that the situation should be handled in a responsible manner and no side should take any provocative action. The spokesperson of the Foreign Ministry said, and I quote, "The Chinese side violated this understanding and engaged in provocative military maneuvers in the late night of 29th and 30th of August in an attempt to change the status quo in the South Bank area of Pangong Lake." He further said that the Indian Army took appropriate defensive measures along the LAC to safeguard India's interests and defend the territorial integrity. India has once again urged the Chinese side to keep their frontier troops under control. It has also asked China to restore peace and tranquility at the border areas. Meanwhile, the Chinese Foreign Ministry maintains that Chinese troops never crossed the line of actual control, instead have alleged that they have blamed the Indian troops of intrusion. The Chinese embassy claims that the Indian troops were spotted at the southern bank of the Pangong So Lake and near the Rekin Pass. So now let's understand what exactly unfolded in this region. Now, as you can see on your screens is a depiction of the Pangong So Lake. Now, the Pangong Lake area is controlled by both India and China. As you can see, the LAC, line of actual control, runs closer to the Finger 7 and Finger 8 areas, which are on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, the Finger area of Pangong So is made up of spurs that rise along the northern bank of the lake. The presence of the Chinese army continues from Finger 4 to Finger 8. Now, remember, the LAC runs closer to Finger 8, but the Chinese side is present at Finger 4 area as well. The latest confrontation took place on the southern bank of the Pangong So Lake, which is opposite side of the lake as compared to the Finger area. The incidents took place overnight between August 29th and 30th, according to a statement by the army. And according to government sources, the intent was to unilaterally occupy areas and alter the status quo. And China has made 3 such attempts in just the last few days. The major flare-up in Ladakh takes place as PLA troops have taken position deep into Indian claimed territory. This happened especially at a feature known as Finger 4, cutting off over 50 square kilometers of land that was earlier being patrolled by both the sides. Indian and Chinese troops have been engaged in a bitter standoff in several areas along the line of actual control. The formal process of disengagement of troops began on the 6th of July. A brigadier-level meeting between India and China will be held today in Chushul in eastern Ladakh. For more details on this story, WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Sudhan Sibal has sent us this report.
The Indian and the Chinese military continue to hold dialogue, conversation. We know that on Monday and Tuesday, both sides held a conversation, but these talks were inconclusive without any outcome. We have seen how situation has deteriorated between the two Asian neighbors in past few months, especially after the Galwan incident of June. But now over the weekend, we know the Chinese side tried to occupy areas in the southern bank of Pangong Lake. This was thwarted by the Indian Army. Now, the Indian Army is present in areas that gives it a strategic depth of the entire region. And of course, we have seen how the Chinese side has been very aggressive in its reaction to the current dynamics on the ground. The Chinese side, the foreign ministry especially, and the mission here has been coming out with statements. The Indian side has also reacted. The Indian External Affairs Ministry yesterday strongly reacted and asked the Chinese side to rein in and discipline its frontline troops. The big question is, what will happen next? That is the big question, and everyone is of course waiting that how this situation de-escalates. The Indian side and the Chinese side are talking, but the big question is what will be the outcome, and will it be a positive outcome given the fact that the window is decreasing very soon, given the fact in less than 30 days winter will fall in that part of the world at the LAC, and that will make situation more difficult for everyone. With video journalist Neeraj Patel, Siddhant Sibal for WION in New Delhi.